heaven beyond earth and sky. It's made of moments here that matter with you and I. There's no destination more full of grace than this place we meet again. We're on holy ground, right where we are. We're on holy ground.
We have lots of people, lots of backpacks and work bags. Fabulous. Welcome. I'm Abhi Janamanchi. My pronouns are he and him. And I welcome you this morning to Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church, to our multi-platform worship, both in person and online. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on life's journey, whatever your beliefs, your gender identity, your immigration or documentation status and disability, and from wherever you are joining us from, we welcome you to our worship this morning. I'm honored and delighted to welcome to Cedar Lane my colleague, the Reverend Ali Casey Bell.
Hey.
All right. Reverend Ali joins us this week as they formally embark on their ministry with us. I know it freaks you out a bit, but I'll say it. We've been waiting for you. Right? Right. If you are joining us for the first time today here in person and feel comfortable doing so, we invite you to just raise your hand so we may see you, recognize you, and welcome you. I know some of you are here. Come on, don't be shy. I don't want to call you out. Welcome. Let's give our guests a warm Cedar Lane welcome. And if you'd please keep your hands raised for just a moment longer, we have a small gift for you, which we hope you will use. Thank you. And welcome to all those who are joining us from home, online. We are so glad you are worshiping with us, for taking a chance and a risk to be here with us today. If you would like, please fill out a Newcomer Forum that is available here for you to fill out, as well as it's being linked in the chat. We would love to be in touch with you. And if you've been attending for a while and are interested in joining this amazing, quirky, and sometimes aggravating religious community, we would love to have you on this journey. I mean, we're all of that, right? And if you're interested, please see Nicole Singer, our membership coordinator, who is actually in the back, passing out those wonderful purple bags. Thank you, Nicole. I just have a couple of things I want to lift up. One is, last Sunday, we had an amazing thing happen after the service. The service was great, but there was another thing that happened right after the service. A bunch of us, I mean, pretty much all who were here in worship, joined together for some spirited work of putting together some care kits for migrants who are being forcibly bused here from Arizona and Texas. Now over 7,000 migrants have arrived in D.C. And we put together in a half hour about 200 care kits for migrants. Now if you were a part of that wonderful assembly line that we were all engaged in, just raise your hand so we can appreciate you for all the good work you did. Diane Seifert, who spearheaded this effort, let us know. Indeed. with wonderful help from Judy Schaefer, and the Clarkson family was put to work, as I saw. The kits have been delivered, but now the need is not for kits at this moment. We will get back to it in some time. Right now we need shoes, both good shoes, new shoes, as well as shoes that are used in good condition. So our e-news has information about how you may be able to contribute shoes, and we have a box out up front to receive shoes for the next few weeks to deliver to our neighbors. Also, we're getting ready to embark on a new congregational year. It's going to be wonderful, it's going to be wild, it's going to be weird in so many different ways as we move through this liminal time. And September 11th will be our in-gathering Sunday once again, the second Sunday in September, where we will not only be coming together for an amazing worship service that is being put together as we speak, with awesome music from our choirs, and also some storytelling and a reflection and other things that will bring us all back into community, deepening our connections, rooted in our relationships. And the highlight will be after the service, where we're going to have an in-gathering brunch, which will feature pancakes and omelets. Yeah. So, and here's where you come in. Because they don't make themselves. We need people to make pancakes and help out with omelets. Our facilities manager, Jose Morant, among his many gifts, is an incredible omelet maker. So he'll be manning or humaning the station, and would love for some of you to help out with putting the ingredients together and all. So we have a sign-up sheet that's going around in our e-news, as well as I think we may have a sign-up sheet in the lounge. Nicole, do you think we'll have a sign-up sheet for helping out with the brunch? Awesome. So please, help us out, because this is going to be our big gathering, and we're expecting a big crowd and feeding a big crowd as well. It'll be wonderful. So, as we come together in this time, a time of remembrance and recognition, a time of celebration and worship, we acknowledge that we gather as we have gathered for over 70 years on the lands of the Nacotchtank people, from which the name Anacostia is derived. They are a part of the Piscataway group of tribes. We honor this land and the people who have protected it for generations. We remember, honor all who were enslaved, who worked on this land without choice or reward. And we remember with gratitude all who went before us, whose love, labor, and sacrifice created and sustained the mission and ministry of this, our religious community. In this spirit, friends, we gather. In this spirit, we begin. Now, let us greet and welcome each other, both here in person and online.
Please rise in body and or in spirit to sing hymn number 1010 in your teal hymnal, We Give Thanks. The words will be on the screen as well.
Let us open our hearts to love, our minds to reason, our souls to joy, and our lives to service. Amazed by the miracles of life, grateful for the gift of community, inspired by the power of living faith. We are here gathered. Come, let us worship together.
As Kathleen Reedy kindles the chalice, symbol of our gathered community, our shared faith, a symbol of freedom and sacrifice, I invite us to rise in body and or in spirit, to share in unison the chalice lighting words that will be up on screen and in your order of celebration. And those of you who are joining us from home, please let us know where you are lighting our chalice from. Let us share together. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our power to seek with honesty, to heal with love, to help with compassion, to bless with joy, to serve the spirit of justice in the fullness of community. May it be so. Thank you. Part of our tradition at Cedar Lane is to have a backpack and work bag blessing as we embark on a new school year, work year, congregational year. So we do this ceremony, first of all, by acknowledging what a gift it is to be able to own a backpack or a work bag. What a gift it is to be able to go to school, to work. Because these gifts are not universal. And so we take a moment to give thanks for these gifts and privileges that we enjoy. And give thanks for our backpacks and our work bags, for our education and our work, as well as for our teachers, our administrators, our cafeteria workers, and other hospitality workers and drivers, all who help us learn and grow.
And now we invite those present with backpacks to be blessed, backpacks and work bags, to come up to the chancel in body and or in spirit. Reverend Abhi and I invite each person to come on up. Don't be afraid. Come on. Bring your backpack. Bring your work bag. We don't bite. And we will bless them for you.
All right. This is so cool, folks. Look at this.
Come on.
The procession of the backpacks and the work bags. Come on up. Just kind of huddle.
Come on, just, make a
Huddle
little.
around. Kind of form.
Yeah, you got it.
There you go.
Yes. All righty, just a few more. Let's make space. Come on, there's plenty of space for everyone. Draw the circle wide. Draw it wider still. Come on. Great, this looks good. Anyone else want to join us? Backpack, work bag. Adults are allowed. We know you go to work. We know you have a work bag. All right, that's right. Let's be brave. Yes. Work bags.
Purses,
Merces, lunch bags.
Any and all are welcome.
Anyone else?
This is great. Thank you.
Come on, we got a few more. Awesome. Wonderful. What a lovely gathering of people. All right. Will all those present now enter a mindful space of loving kindness, hope, and faith as we begin our responsive blessing. My friends, as your backpack, work bags, merces, and purses, and lunch bags, and everything that you take with you in your day will carry the supplies to nourish your mind and your heart and your body and your spirit, we hold them as sacred objects this morning, and we bless them with these words.
We bless them so that you are fulfilled by days spent reading, learning, writing, problem solving, experimenting. So let the congregation say, we bless your mind. So that in every classroom, hallway, boardroom, cafeteria, and every place that you go to do the work that you need to do, and schoolyard, you treat others kindly, and others treat you kindly. And the congregation says, we bless your hearts. So that you are awake in the morning, even if you have to get on the bus at some ungodly hour, which is the way we do it in Montgomery County. Energized during the day and always able to get a good night's sleep, we bless your body.
For all the days when you get all the answers wrong, and the days you just don't care about anything. We bless your mind.
And for the days that you need a friend but cannot find one, and the days where you just can't stand anybody and want to be alone with your own introverted self,
Yes.
like me sometimes.
And me.
We bless your heart.
And for the days when you are so sleepy, so very sleepy, the days when your burden is too heavy, the days when your backpack and your bags weigh a ton, we bless your body.
Throughout this entire year, as you go through all the successes, all the disappointments, all the joys, all the sorrows that go along with learning new ideas, meeting new people, growing in mind, heart, and body,
we want you to know you are good no matter what. You are good. You are human no matter what. You are human. Therefore, you are imperfect. And your imperfection is needed. Your imperfection is okay. And you are loved. You are loved beyond belief. And so together,
we bless your spirit.
Let it be so.
So go forth.
Go forth, thinkers, doers, and adventurers, and wanderers of life, and students.
And wear your blessed backpacks and work bags and purses and mercies with grace and pizzazz. And together let us say amen.
Amen.
And blessed be.
And Ashe, and Aho.
Or as some say, bless Abhi.
They don't say that. They
They
say
do.
that.
It's all about me.
They say bless Ali. Bless Ali.
Bless all of you. Thank you. Did everyone receive?
Oh.
We are animals.
That's a good point. We should say humans and animals. All of
right.
us. Bless all sentient beings. How about that
Amen.
one?
Is that
Amen.
good? All right. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
And we invite you, those who did not bring backpacks today, to feel free to take one after the service.
Now, I got carried away with the blessing of the backpacks. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing in the gray hymnal, hymn 354. Lyrics are also on the screen. Just to have some time alone.
round of applause for plowing through that hymn. It's a beautiful hymn, and it's a muscular hymn, and you get your workout. I love that, especially for that last line. So you have to put yourself through the entire one to get to it. Let us center ourselves now, inviting our mind, body, and spirit into this space made sacred by our presence and the presence of the holy, known by many names, present within, among, and beyond. Let us enter into this moment calling upon the holy, the source of all love, to be with us, to be among us. As we gather in sacred space across time and space, a sanctuary amid the many challenges of life, a center from which we may gather strength, hope, courage to face these challenges with faith and love. In this time of caring and sharing within our Cedar Lane community, we offer prayers of healing and comfort to Catherine Schuler, who has entered hospice care at her home. We hold in our hearts all who are mourning a loss of a loved one, marking the anniversary of a loved one. We hold those who are caring for loved ones with illness, who are recovering from illness. We hold those who are struggling. We hold those who are journeying through life transitions and challenges. Our caring extends beyond Cedar Lane to others whose lives are lost and whose lives are impacted by war all over the world, by natural calamities and the COVID-19 pandemic in our nation and around the world. Especially this week, we hold the people of Pakistan, where millions have been deeply affected by flooding that has affected more than 20% of the population, 45 million people. May these friends of ours, our companions in the world, and all the joys and sorrows that we continue to hold in our hearts be held now in the embrace of prayer and silence.
Please join me in a moment of prayer or meditation. Spirit of life and love and justice, God known of many names and of none, we seek you today. As many of our children prepare to go back to school, and many parents hold a little worry in their hearts about all of the things and all of the hopes that they have for their children. Let there be safety for all of the world's children. Let there be enough for everyone. We seek understanding and differences in this congregation, in every congregation, and in the world at large. And we seek a way forward where what we believe doesn't come to a place of violence, but to a place of understanding, a place of just difference. It is difficult being a spirit having a human existence. Let us remember that we are on this side believing that those people on that side are wrong, and they are on that side believing that we on this side are wrong, and that there is more a circle than a side, so maybe we can link. And let us be true to our values, that we all have worth and dignity. Let us be and do who we are called to be and do. We pray this in the name of the Most High. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. As we enter the silence together, those who are mourning a loss or making the anniversary of a loss of a loved one are invited to rise in body and or in spirit and share their names into the silence and in the chat. May we hold the silence as the silence holds us.
Amen. Every Sunday, we give and receive an offering to sustain the mission and ministry of our religious community and in support of a community organization that is in alignment with our mission. The offering each week is a visible symbol and an act, a visible symbol of our love and commitment to our community, our congregation, and an act of giving of ourselves in service of something larger than ourselves. This Sunday, we share the plate with the Trevor Project, a nonprofit organization that was founded in 1998 that provides information and support to LGBTQ young people 24/7, all year round, including programs like the Trevor Space, which is an international online community for LGBTQ plus young people ages 13 to 24, the Trevor Lifeline, the only nationwide around-the-clock crisis and suicide prevention helpline for LGBTQ+ youth, and advocacy work and education for change in all 50 states of the United States in support of LGBTQ lives. Friends, your gift will go towards supporting this important work and ensuring that LGBTQIA young people who need support nationwide know that they are not alone. So you can support this important work by texting 73256 and CLUUC with the amount, or you can give online or use PayPal, the QR code, mail a check, or share your offering in the offering plate as the ushers come forward. However you choose to give, whatever you choose to give, we are grateful for your generosity. Our offering will now be given and gratefully received. Thank you, Jenny Lynn and Jasmin, for that beautiful piece of music.
Yeah.
So this question box service is also somewhat of a UU tradition, which is an opportunity for members and friends annually to figure out complicated questions to stump your minister. And I'm always struck that this service usually brings a lot of people out. So some days it feels like a sanctuary, other days it feels like a bit of a coliseum, I have to say. But I've come to really appreciate the opportunity to receive some of your questions, though we don't always get to all of them given the limited time. But it, to me, provides a way in which I feel the opportunity to hear the questions, the intimate and ultimate questions that you are holding in your lives, and find a way to respond to them that hopefully might provide some answers or responses that in turn might help us journey together. So with that preamble, Reverend Ali?
Well, I think that we have a lot of good questions from inside of the congregation, and I think we also have some questions that came in online.
Yes.
And they were also great questions. I noticed that when I was preparing the questions to ask you, I picked the hardest ones first. You're welcome. But I think we'll start off with one that came from one of our youngest, maybe not youngest, but one of our young members. And we'll give Reverend Abhi a chance to get started a little bit. And the first question is, how do you do this all? How do you do this all?
And that was going to be an easy one to start us off.
I never said easy. I just said it was from a younger member, and it would get you started. I never said it was easy.
Thank you. How do I do this all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wonder sometimes. And, you know, this is, I've been doing this for a while. This is my 25th year in ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I never imagined I would survive this long. Because the breadth and the depth of what ministry is and what it calls for can be deeply challenging and sometimes exhausting.
It's true.
And soul nourishing and fulfilling, sometimes all at the same time. So there are days when I feel like I'm able to hold all that and move through with some sense of my sanity intact. And other days I'm completely done. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
So, welcome, Reverend Ali.
Yeah, I would agree with you. That's pretty much how you do it all.
Yeah.
You don't do it all.
No. So, to actually answer the question, you do not do it all. Do not even try, which I have tried and have scars to show. And you need to figure out what it is that you can do, the some things that you can do, and try to do them well, and then learn the difficult discipline of letting go.
Yeah, and what you're called to do. What brings you joy? What nourishes you in the calling, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. And we have a group of questions here. It's almost like, I wouldn't say that you packed the deck. I wouldn't say that. But there are a group of questions here that kind of go together, which are really good, actually. The group of questions are about multicultural ministry, about honoring our history, and about, let me see, honoring our immigrant ancestors, as well as to expand our outreach, surviving, how we survive after the difficult years, and also what does it mean to be, how we can be more inclusive and diverse while honoring our history and our traditions, and what does it mean to be a multicultural congregation? And those all fit well together. They kind of dovetail well together, wouldn't you say?
They do. So let me try to pick up on what does it mean to be being committed to being a multicultural
congregation,
multi-religious religious community. So at the heart of our faith, our theology, we have a pluralistic theology. That has been the element of who we are as Unitarian Universalists throughout our history. This isn't something new that emerged recently. It has been the thread that has connected us. What we are doing now is to be more explicit about that aspect, which has always been implicit in our principles, in our purposes, our sources, and how we go about it is what I feel we as a faith movement or making an intentional commitment. In seeking to embody who we are.
Yeah.
The embodiment is not numerical. So it's not about becoming more diverse religiously or increasing the melanin content in the sanctuary. Which is, it's good. It's good. I enjoy seeing a lot more brown faces in our sanctuary. But that's not the purpose. Being a multicultural religious community is more about being than becoming.
Right.
It is recognizing not just the diversity of how the human spirit and human experience is expressed.
Right.
It is also living into that expression in how we are, how we relate to one another, how we treat one another, how we see each other.
Yeah, I think that is also about really being aware and actually seeing who's in our congregation, going beyond the idea of who we think we are and actually seeing who we are amongst class lines, seeing who we are amongst gender lines, seeing who we are amongst sexuality lines, seeing who we are amongst age lines, so that we are actually seeing the diversity that we can't see and accepting the diversity that's always been there multiculturally that we always have had historically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And Unitarian Universalists are one of the most theologically diverse religious communities in the world. Very few faiths can claim that. And we are probably the only faith that is explicit in being committed to theological diversity.
Yeah.
How do we embody that more? And embodying theological or cultural diversity calls us to be engaged.
Yes.
So it's not enough just to celebrate diversity, as the cliche goes.
Right.
We do that. We can do that. It is engaging with diversity.
Yes. Yes.
Part of it calls us to see one another.
Yes.
I've shared this with you all before. In the Hindu tradition, we don't say we go to worship to the Hindu temple. We say we go for darshan. Darshan in Sanskrit means to see and to be seen by the divine. To really see. And the work of diversity calls us to see our whole selves, both our gifts and our warts. And how do we try to be there with one another? To me, that's the work that we are being called to. And to recognize that the center that holds us is not a narrow center that somehow you have to throw something out in order to bring something in. The center is large enough to hold all.
I want to attach onto that from one of the questions from the internet, from our friends that are joining us out on the web. Throughout history and still today, the question says, religion and spirituality have been used as forces for both good and ill. If you were to write a 30-second PSA for safe spirituality, what would it say? And what are some red flags for spirituality that could become dangerous or destructive? And what are some guidelines for recognizing healthy and helpful spirituality and spiritual community?
How much time we got?
It said that you had 30 seconds.
Yeah, but you don't know this about me, Ali, but my beloved friends here do. 30 seconds really doesn't feature much in my way of thinking and speaking.
Should I tell Siri to set an alarm for 30 seconds?
And again, I'm also a Hindu at heart, and we talk about ages that span millions of years.
Right.
So, which is also why I don't believe in 1 hour worship, that somehow you can condition your spirit to an hour, and then at the end of the hour, you're done.
You're done, right?
So thank you for all of you who have learned to tolerate me over all these years. Anyway, spirituality, in my book, is living the ordinary life extraordinarily well. To me, that's the framework of what Unitarian Universalist spirituality is. And in order for spiritual wellness, it is recognizing that we are part of a life much larger than our own, and identifying values, convictions, beliefs, morals that enable us to connect to that life larger than our own in order to serve a life larger than our own. Mm. So I don't know if that is a 30-second PSA of safe spirituality, but to me that is how we approach the spiritual life, which is partly why we approach social justice as a spiritual practice.
Oh, good. I want to stop you there because we have just enough time for one more question, and this one is specifically related to the social justice at Cedar Lane. Ah. So it says toiletry kits for migrants and now shoes for migrants. How do campaigns like this directing attention, time, and money outside of the church contribute to the health of Cedar Lane, both participatory and financially, or are they in competition with each other?
They're not in competition with each other.
Okay.
I think that is a great question and an example of how we seek to live spiritually, mm-hmm, in service of something larger than our own. So if spirituality is just focused on making me feel good,
right,
making me deal, not be anxious, which to me again is not the purpose of a spiritual life.
Right.
It is learning to live with anxiety not as much as eliminating anxiety. Mm-hmm. Because as long as we are alive, we're going to be anxious. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We need to learn to deal with it. Mm-hmm. But it's not just about me feeling that. It is about going beyond myself. Mm-hmm. So when we do those things like raise money or build care kits for migrants or shoes or other practices that we do, mm-hmm, it is a way of living beyond ourselves.
Yeah. Well, we have many other questions and we have no more time.
Well,
one more question?
One more, yeah, ask that social justice question.
One more question? One more, which social justice question? I asked one of them.
So we had a few questions from some of you that related to war.
Oh, there was a war question. Do the war question.
About climate justice.
Wow. Shh. The climate justice question or the war question?
I don't know.
Okay. Shh. Which one would you like to answer?
I'm game. Ask me.
Would you like to answer, should Cluck take a position on the war? Or, I believe there's actually 2 war questions. We're all about war today. Or would you like to answer?
Let me start with the war question.
Okay.
So
there are 2 war questions, though.
So the question is about,
should we take a position
should we take
on
a
war?
position as a congregation and as a faith about war? It's an excellent question, actually. It's a multi-layered question. Thank you, Ralph, for posing that. So Unitarian Universalists, throughout our history, we have had an interesting tension. We're not, like the Quakers, an explicitly pacifist religion. And for most of our history, we have supported what is called the just war position. I'm sure you've heard of the just war theory and the position, which actually emerged out of the Catholic Church in the 4th century, and then was developed more in the 16th century in the Protestant tradition, and continues. So we have kind of approached war as something is of a necessary evil. Mm-hmm. That's kind of most of how we have, especially in resolutions that our association has passed and all of that. And then we have also had a very strong pacifist strain within our tradition. So people like John Haynes Holmes, for example, was an avowed pacifist. He was a dear friend of Mahatma Gandhi and took a very strong pacifist position against the both world wars and actually faced deep criticism from other people in our faith as well as political leaders, including some of our former presidents who took issue with him for his pacifist position. But that strain has continued. What I believe, need to be more engaged in now is what Dr. Paul Reiser calls prophetic non-violence. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Sanskrit term for it is ahimsa, which is engaged non-violence. Mm-hmm. The prophetic non-violence calls us to be grounded in peace, recognizing that war is in many ways a limit of our moral imagination. And while there may be moments when war may be justified, which again is my position, though I don't feel that's necessarily the right position, but sometimes that is necessary, it is recognizing the limits of war and to be willing to be conscientious religiously when it comes to war, and not try to make excuses, especially the limits of the state when it comes to war. That we cannot just say we are strongly opposed to war, Russia's aggression against Ukraine, and be quiet about the ongoing wars that we see happening in Somalia or Yemen or Palestine, where we choose not to take a position because we have political alliances that in turn are more important to us than the human cost of what war is. And that religiously is something that as Unitarian Universalists we need to engage in more.
So this ties in with the question that's here from the congregation that is here. How can you use specifically be a spiritual support and grounding presence in the lives of military service members?
So, as part of the framework that we have, especially in the just war, Unitarian Universalism also has a long history of supporting our service members who choose to serve, and supporting conscientious objectors who choose to take a moral position. We have long held both these in creative tension and have been able to create and sustain a community that really provides that support. And to me, that's how I would approach it.
Yeah, I believe so. And, when we think of our chalice, that is some of the history of our help in supporting Unitarians during war. And this is our last question. Given that our existential predicament, of which global overheating, resource wars, pandemics, etc., are caused by gnarly overproduction and infinite growth, consumption, economics, in a finite world, what can you use theology and spirituality do to minimize the pain and suffering that is likely coming?
You see what I mean about questions? I actually made some notes for that question. And I thank Jim Lawrenson for cooking it up last night. So I was reminded of something that our former moderator, Ginny Corder, said at some public event. She gave the gathered community the mandate to dream lucid and wide awake. Dream lucid and wide awake, she said, which I took it to mean about unleashing our creativity and working towards our vision of building the beloved community for a better world, but without looking away at the ugly truths and realities of what makes this society so difficult for the majority of its inhabitants.
Yeah.
Where we are called to push our mind and our heart and our spirits to dwell on the growing edges of our own understandings and our capacities. So, in that context, I believe that we need to gain the momentum that is necessary to halt climate change. But that will require a massive reimagining and reordering of our values, our motivations, and our lives on a scale unprecedented. And we have the opportunity to begin it here, to do that work more intentionally here. You know, we're deeply committed to dismantling structures that oppress, that get in the way. These structures are what are oppressing and getting in the way of our being able to make some real changes to sustain our planet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in that context, climate justice work, which I believe is the framework we use, calls us to respect and protect human rights, support the right to sustainable development, share the benefits and burdens equitably, ensure that decisions on climate change are participatory, transparent, and accountable, that highlight gender equality and equity, that are grounded in racial justice and economic justice, that use effective partnerships to secure climate justice, and that harness the transformative power of education and science for climate justice.
Yes. Yeah.
So, how are we doing?
I think we did well.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This was fun.
This was fun.
It was a little unsettling.
Great
Because
questions.
you have a way.
Do I?
Yeah, I noticed, of taking questions and not asking them as they were written. Yeah. I'm watching.
I bundled them for you.
That was good.
Bundled them for you.
Thank you.
All right. Please rise in body and/or in spirit with your great hymnal and join me in singing hymn 128, For All That Is Our Life. The lyrics will also be on the screen.
For each other
Our benediction is from the poet Ross Gay, whose words in many ways capture how we approach our religious living in response to what we encounter in our lives. You know, we don't center our values around beliefs as a movement because that's a creedal approach. We are a value-centered religion. But if we were to identify something as a belief, I would submit that it is that we believe in life before death. We do. And it is about living this one wild and precious life, as Mary Oliver put it. Living it well, living each moment fully, as if it is our last moment. So for that kind of an engaged approach, which is to me religious, and it is scarily religious, because you're confronted with the here and now and doing well now, not some moment, some time after we die. It calls for a different way of being. So Ross Gay writes, I have been wondering how we make the world by our witnessing of it. Or maybe I have come to understand, to believe, that how we witness makes our world. This is why attending to what we love, what we are astonished by, what flummoxes us with beauty is such crucial work, such rigorous work. Likewise, studying how we care and are cared for, how we tend and are tended to, how we give and are given is such necessary work. It makes the world. Witnessing how we are loved and how we love makes the world. Witness and study, I should say. Witness as study, I think I mean. Truth is, we are mostly too acquainted with the opposite, with the wreckage. It commands our attention, and for good reason. We have to survive it. But even if we have to understand the wreckage to survive it, the wreckage need not be the primary object of our study. The survival need be. The reaching and the holding need be. The here, have this, need be. The come in, you can stay here, need be. The let's share it all, need be. The love, need be. The care, need be. That which we are made by, held by, need be. Who's taken us in need, be. Who's saved the seed, need be. How we have been loved, need be. How we are loved, need be. How we need be too. Our radiant need, our luminous need, our need immense and immeasurable, our need absolute need be. And that study, that practice, that witness is called gratitude. Our gratitude need be. And that is what I want to study. And this is with whom. So may it be.